Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, Lakers. Took care of business against the Cavs just now, man. It's about 25-30 minutes after the game ended. I gave you guys a reaction to the game, and now I get to nestle in at least for another 24 hours as a 8th seed member of the LA Lakers. And that's a big deal, man, because we've been hovering in that 9th seed for a month, it feels like. And to be honest with you, we've been beating the crap out of teams, man. When we lost like 2 games in the last 12 games and can't get out of the 9th seed, Western Conference is a madhouse. And look, I think they need to revamp that a little bit, because the Eastern Conference, them teams over there, man, in the 9th seed over there, they're like 10 games below 500. We're like 12 games above 500. And in the 9th seed, I mean, something needs to change. I'm not sure if you want to just make it the best 16 teams or whatever make the playoffs, but it ain't the same game. And this is the thing that I want to say too. For a team like the Boston Celtics, when you have the Eastern Conference to play 4 times a year and in the Western Conference to play 2 times a year, you are not in the same league as the Western Conference is one of the best teams in the league. You're not, fam. If that's your level of competition a good majority of the time, you ain't seeing the same stuff that we running into, bro. And that needs to be said, because that's what happens in the NBA. Every year, the Eastern Conference, you start saying, oh, the best team's out east. How, fam? They beating up on trash every night. When we went to the Eastern Conference, you know how good the Lakers have been against the Eastern Conference? We only lost to the Pacers. Everybody else we've seen over the last month, we've seen at least 8 teams from the Eastern Conference. We've beaten all of them, including the team that beat us. If we were in the Eastern Conference, we'd be like the 2nd overall seed. So that's my thing. It's like, yo, something needs to change, man. I don't know what needs to change. Something needs to change. Because honestly, we're not in the same league with the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics may be the best team this, best team that. But if they had to see Denver, Minnesota, not San Antonio, but the Thunder 4 times a year, they probably wouldn't be as good as they are. Their record wouldn't be as good as it is, man. They only got to see these teams twice a year. It's not the same league, man. And so that's my take on this whole situation. I just think the NBA should do something about that. Maybe make it so that the best 12 teams, or rather best 16 teams, maybe best 18 teams, however you want to do it, if you want to do a play-in tournament. But, or make it so that the Eastern Conference has to see us more. That's the truth. Make it so they got to play the Western Conference 3 times a year. Balance that out a little bit, because it's very clear that you have a seesaw where the East is on the bottom and the West is on the top, but the East gets to see the East 4 times a year and the West only see the West twice a year, and then get to be compared to us. Like, nah, hell no. There should be something that balances that out, so that a team like the Lakers can make the playoffs and a team like the Chicago Bulls can miss the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, these teams are getting the best overall draft prospects because they suck. But if they're not seeing the same teams, then shouldn't a team like Portland, who has to be out here, have a precedence over a team like Washington, who has to be out there? They need the talent much more than Washington do. Washington ain't got to see nothing but teams like the Nets every night. Like, a team like Portland trying to do jumpstart their rebuild, you can't tell me don't have more of a upswing and an uphill battle to fight. A team like San Antonio, you can't tell me doesn't have more of an uphill battle to fight than the freaking Atlanta Hawks, who are in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. At some point in time, we got to be honest about this. The NBA is letting the league, the Eastern Conference specifically, slide every time they compare these 2 conferences or allow for the same amount of balance as it pertains to making the Eastern Conference playoffs versus making the Western Conference playoffs. It should not be the same criteria. They should have to win more games against the West in order to be able to be considered playoff contenders. I'm sorry. That's where I'm at with it. Because if the Bucks was out west, the way they've been losing, they'd be down there with the Golden State Warriors and us, man. I kid you not. That horrible backcourt they got defensively, they wouldn't have won no kind of games out here. Let's just be real. And the way Boston be coughing up basketball games, let me tell you something, man. The Boston Celtics, they may be the best team in the NBA because they get to beat up on bad teams every night. But believe me, if they were in the Western Conference, they'd be like 4th seed, 5th seed. Seriously, the way they be dropping basketball games, the way they be blowing leads and stuff like that, the way they be having issues, yeah. They're not the best team in the NBA, man. They're not. They're not. They ain't up there with Denver, bro. They not. And if they were to face off against one another as a Laker fan, I would be absolutely confident and comfortable that the Denver Nuggets would keep the Boston Celtics from getting their 18th NBA championship. Very comfortable with that. Super relaxed is how I would feel if those two teams are going into the season, into the finals against one another. No concern, Laker fans. Sorry, none. Boston just ain't that. They not. I'm confident. I'm positive of that. They're just not that. They may be that so long as they're seeing Eastern Conference teams every night. So long as they get to beat up on the Heat and the Nets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can beat them in teams like Cavaliers who are solid, but not, you know what I mean? Nah, man. They ain't up there with OKCs and Minnesotas. They're not. They're not. And so that's what I want to say, man. At some point in time, we just got to be honest. My Los Angeles Lakers are 12 games above 500 right now? Something crazy like that. If we were in the Eastern Conference, with this roster, we would be up there with the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks and New York Knicks. We'd be all up there with them, man. So half the games we lost against real Western Conference teams. Teams that none of them teams can really beat. Not on a regular basis. That's what we've been losing to. And some of that stuff we did to ourselves with bad rotations. Running off, all defensive players and stuff like that. Just Darvin Ham stuff. And probably if we had to do again, we wouldn't. And probably would have won some of those games. So, I don't know. I just think that the Eastern Conference is weak as hell. It always has been. It's been that way my entire life, including the Jordan years. East was trashed then. And it's time to start really looking at that, man. It's too damn hard out here in the Western Conference for us to continue to allow teams like the Boston Celtics call themselves the best team in the league because they got the best record in the league with more than half of their games against bad teams. Enough of that. Enough of that. No more. So that's what I want to say, man. They ain't in the same league with the West, man. They're not. And so, yeah, man, as a Laker fan, I feel confident that we would have a good time in the Eastern Conference, man. We would destroy a lot of them teams on a regular basis, and we would probably be over 50 wins right now if we were out there. Very confident in that. And so, yeah, man, I just wanted to let you guys know what I was thinking. And fighting tooth and nail with these Western Conference teams. Still got to go up against Minnesota tomorrow. Still got the Golden State Warriors, of whom I know that we have trouble against. And that's something I want to say right now. The Golden State Warriors, they're so much better than people give them credit. They really are. As a unit, they do have some flaws. But come playoff time, you don't want to have to face them. You do not want to face Steph Curry. He's still in his prime. He hasn't lost anything. I know it's a lot of people saying the best point guard in the league is a different people. It's not. It's him still. It's still him. Babyface Assassin's still the best point guard in basketball right now. And I just know better than to welcome a one-and-done situation against him. So I hope we hold on to this 8th seed or move higher, because let somebody else deal with him, man. Let New Orleans deal with him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about that. And then there's a guy by the name of Trace Jackson Davis, whom I think just gives us trouble. And I know it's his rookie season. And I know, Coach Kerr could be a little funny with the rotations. So you really don't know if he's going to play all the time or not. But if he's out there, he's going to give people problems. He continues to be somebody that's on my radar as a Laker fan. I was watching him closely and realizing that every time we see him, he plays out of his body. And so I expect that next Wednesday or whenever we see them. I expect that. Trace Jackson Davis, I just want us to consider him a high-level contributor to what they do from here on out. And as long as you're ready for him, he can't hurt you like he otherwise does. But if you continue to look at him as, oh, he's just a guy, you would better respect him like you would respect Kevon Looney. You respect him like you respect Andrew Wiggins, any other contributors, because I'm telling you, from here on out, that is exactly what I expect for him to be. And so that's one player I don't toy with him. I could already tell. I could tell early. I'm telling y'all early. He's a guy. He's a guy. Just like his pops was in Indiana back in the day. He's a guy, man. And you got to deal with him. So if that's what it is. I look at him as a problem, along with many other problems that the Golden State Warriors bring to the table. So yeah, that's where my thoughts are. I'm close to where I want to be for this particular part of my day, but I did want to make this video right quick and just give y'all a few of my thoughts. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching, and I'm out.